So I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. Years ago, when I arrived where I was, I won't say where I lived, of course, because I've been in the military, I travel places. And I was told, of all things, by a white guy, understand that God doesn't see color the way we see color because he created us all. Not to say that God doesn't see color. That could be a whole nother conversation in someone else's video. I'm not going to get into that. And the man asked me, and I was walking on the street at the time with my boyfriend, who ultimately became my husband. You believe in God? And I was like, yeah, I'm paraphrasing. And I can remember this guy looking me in the eyes and said, whatever you do for your spiritual growth, I'm paraphrasing, never enter such and such church. Won't say the name of the church because I don't want those people coming after me. So I'm like, okay. And throughout the years after this one white guy told me, various black people that once attended that church or knew people who attended that predominantly black church all told the same story that this white man told me. I don't know if God may have sent this man to me or what to rescue me, but up till now, I'm happy I've never stepped foot in that church. So here's the gist of it, right? I'm at the salon in the early 2010s getting my hair done. Maybe it was the early 2000s. I was between my late 20s, early 30s. I can remember that. Still in pretty good health compared to now. And my hairstyle is black, of course, because we got a certain texture hair. And we were talking about not hating church, just hating false churches. And how we don't step into churches, and that church came up somehow. Mind you, there's been a short but not so good line of people saying, avoid this church like the plague. She knew about it too. Couple of weeks before I came in on the Saturday to get my hair done, another lady comes in early, and she's profusely thanking my same hairstylist for letting her in early. Now, this person who comes to see my hairstylist at the time is a member of that church. Oh, I'm gonna paraphrase. Oh, thank you, sister. I got to up and get my hair done. I got to go to the payday loan place. And get the offering and get the tithes for my anointed. The gist of it is that people in this church were under pressure because of the false use of biblical principles to pay this man a high level of tithes and offering. And after she told the story, I asked her, is it true that the ushers are told to go guard the door and lock everyone in until they get the amount of money? She said yes, and let me know that that woman rushing out to get to a payday loan place on Saturday, so she could hurry up and get that, get her quote unquote anointings offering, wasn't the only time she'd heard about that. Then I told her the long line of stories I heard. And I'm not a one to tell people to listen to rumors. So sometimes knowing certain rumors can save you from things. So the gist of it is this woman would rather put herself in debt to pay a payday loan to a greedy pastor who insisted that his offering had to be a certain thing every Sunday. And the absolute gall of newspapers during the pandemic to come out and say he was a pillar of the community. Even a known state senator came out at the time and called this man a pillar of the community, whilst he was keeping some of his congregation poor by having the ushers guard the doors. Because he felt the anointed felt like his offering. wasn't as sufficient as it should be. Now the story's gonna pop up. This is why when Marvin Sapp did this, from my knowledge and my firsthand experience with people who've gone through this, because I've met people at the church that I'm referring to, this man was doing this going back, they say, to the 1980s. I'm happy that people dragged Marvin Sapp for this. And I am, because this mess has been going too far for decades. Where you are guilt tripped into paying pastors absorbent fees. When the gospel isn't something you're really supposed to make that type of money off of. That money is meant for the church. It's not meant for you to take care of one or a few people. I've known of pastors who still kept regular jobs whilst preparing sermons on Sunday morning because they know this is wrong. Y'all making a whole living off of saying Jesus would want you to be prosperous when the man came here born in a manger and he was crucified on a cross. Y'all don't see from cradle to grave how when he was here in the flesh, how what you preach is suspect. And then when some of us are scared to step in churches, you don't get why. That's not an excuse. I'm not saying I'm not trying to find one, because I am. While I am proud of y'all for coming out and checking Marvin Sapp for this, let's stop playing stupid like we don't know that this manipulation, this financial prosperity, manipulation hadn't been going on for decades. Where you are guilt tripped to give up to your last dime while your pastor lives in a predominantly white neighborhood and act like you don't exist. And heaven forbid you just show up on his doorstep even wanting prayer, which ideally you shouldn't just show up to people's households, so don't take my full word on that. Don't touch my anointed nor do my prophet harm. God was speaking of the people who truly preach the gospel, not these fools sitting up hustling money out of you. And with as quick as information spreads now, some of y'all should know better. And if you got relatives like this, y'all can't sit them down and stage an intervention. Oh, they choose to go there. Nope. Because the problem in situations like this is that the Bible is cherry picked for them. So then they don't understand and get out of the brainwashing that what they're being told and sold is contrary to what's in that book. The Apostle Paul didn't live it up lavishly. And he had one of the closest relationships to God of anyone in history. John was exiled to the island of Patmos to sit there and basically be starved to death. Unaliving, sorry, because when you use certain words on YouTube, I'm sure somebody will try to report me. Why do y'all still fall for this stuff? Those of you who stay in those churches, I'm just curious. Because I can remember hearing about that lady, the stylist, telling me, and that's back in between the time I was 28 to 32, so that was between 2008 and 2012, when payday loan places were rampant in this county. Now 90+% of them are gone because they had been ripping off certain people in the armed forces as well. You know that you've been played when you have to go get a payday loan to help your anointed floss his lifestyle. What do y'all actually think is happening with all this money? Why does a pastor who say they truly believe in the Lord have to be surrounded by bodyguards that are expensive at all times? You know what a cell phone is? That's the thing you use to call 911 when somebody locks you down in a church and forces you to give money. Because what it amounted to is like 1,000 people had to give Marvin Sapp a certain amount so that it added to $40,000. You gonna tell me that ain't a hustle? Because it don't seem like Jesus told anybody to ever do that. The way people are saying this online, they're acting like the locking people down in churches is a new thing. No, for some of us, we've known for a long time that there are pastors that do this. I think it's profoundly sad. If you have a relative in one of these churches, please do your best to stage an intervention. Their belief in God and that Christ was his son isn't the issue. They're greedy, selfish, and self-centered. Oh, God wanted me to prosper without getting a regular job. Pastor is the problem.